There's a lot of old, but also a lot of new faces, so I figured I'd make like a get to know me video. Hey. I'm just gonna go ahead and prime my eyelids first. Okay, first fact. My name is Joni. I am 28, pushing 30. Goddamn! I know. Okay, personally, I don't feel like that's very old, but like when you're on the internet and social media in general, anything past 18 is old, okay? I've just accepted that reality. But like holistically, like I'm not even halfway done with my life. You know? Like maybe TMI, but I also didn't think that I'd make it past 20, to be honest, so every day is a win. Not to be like morbid or anything, like that's just, I'm oversharing, sorry. Funny how this is my page and not yours. I was born in Seattle, but I was raised in Michigan, which is also like where the standard Midwest accent comes from. I live on the West Coast now, but like I definitely feel like living in the Midwest or growing up in the Midwest did like a number on me, because I remember what it was like going literally anywhere, and at the off chance that I do see somebody that looks similar to me who is Asian vaguely, in my head I'd be like, oh my god, hey cousin. Because look, when you grow up in Michigan, like there are not a lot of people that look like you if you're a minority. Like that's just the way it is. It's mostly white people. So I had a little bit of like culture shock, I guess you could say, when I moved to the West Coast initially. Because like, how do you explain that to somebody who grew up with a bunch of people around them that looked similar to them? Like there was never any sense of feeling othered or like any other sense of feeling like I'm different or I'm ugly because I don't look like everybody else, you know? So on one hand, I'm glad that that's made me the person that I am today and I've grown from that. But on the other hand, I'm like, damn, mom and dad, you couldn't have picked another state. Okay, I started my face with one base color for the cushion. Now I'm going in with the same cushion in a few shades darker just on the perimeter of my face, just to add some color. Personally, I really like this style of like adding color to your face recently because I feel like it just looks more seamless, you know what I mean? I don't want to go in with a brush and like stipple or whatever. Like it makes more sense. I don't know. Now I'm blending out all the areas that I typically crease before I go in with the setting powder, because once it's set, okay? So we're not trying to set a mistake. And if you look crazy while you're trying to find your setting powder, you're doing it correctly, okay? There will be no crease. We're going in with the Easy Bake powder from Huda Beauty in the shade Peach Pie. Just set everything in place. I actually do my entire face, but like that's personal preference, obviously. The foundation I used today specifically is more of an olive toned, and while I am an olive girly, it is running a little bit yellowish green for me. So I'm gonna use a more orange sort of setting powder to kind of offset that for the whole face. My thing is like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna make the foundation work for me, okay? Because I'm not returning anything. I feel bad. I have like returning guilt. Sometimes you just have to tweak some things. It's okay. Another fun fact about me is I'm an eldest daughter, which I've been told by a lot of people that I give eldest daughter. I don't know what that means, but yeah, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Let me know. I don't know exactly how I feel about being eldest daughter. Like, I don't know anything else outside of that. Sometimes I have moments where I wish like I had an older sister, but I mean, I know I have a mom, but like it's different. You know what I mean? If you have sisters, you get it. Like, it's not the same. Top 10 things I hate because of my birth order is people seeing me cry. Like, I would rather die. In terms of what I wanted to be growing up, I really wanted to be some sort of artist. Like, it didn't matter what medium. That's just what I wanted my career to be. I didn't understand as a child in my child brain that it might be, you know, a starving artist sort of career. And I realized that into my adulthood when it didn't, you know, go anywhere. But like, I mean, I wouldn't say it didn't go anywhere, but it didn't go as far as I would hope. And in my teenage years, I wanted to be like a YouTube makeup guru. Like, that was my dream. It was genuinely my dream, because not only was that creative expression, I also grew up on like YouTube. So I'm like, I want to be that. I want to be a guru. When I tell you I grew up on YouTube, like I grew up on YouTube, okay? Do you remember how hard it was to find tutorials that worked for our features? So like a lot of people, I was raised on like Michelle Phan and Bubs Beauty. Like, I missed their tutorials so bad. So now I make tutorials. Hopefully it's helping somebody. Oh my gosh, let me know if you want like a series where I do things differently based on my features specifically. Actually, that would be so fun. My current dream now as an adult is to start a makeup company, which I feel like it kind of led there. Like, it makes sense for me to want that from going to artist to YouTube. Like, it adds up, right? My dad says I'm never gonna make it, but my mom is pretty neutral about it. So yeah, it would be nice if you do believe in me. Let me know. Growing up with a dad that's like also emotionally constipated is so interesting, because on one hand, he's supportive sometimes, but like on the other hand, he's my biggest day one hater. So it's like, what do you want? Do you love me? I don't know, I'm very confused. And I understand giving grace to people, especially your parents, because it's their first time being parents and having kids, but I don't know. Maybe consider not having kids if you're not ready emotionally. Also, if you're wondering why I'm like perpetually in a state of balding, that's because I keep ripping out my hair. I don't know what my issue is. I'm like frequently stressed out, so I just like pulling everything out. My boyfriend told me to stop, but like, funny how when you tell me not to do something, I like to do it more. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But like, I think it's a compulsive thing. I actually don't want to bald at all or thin. Like, that's probably one of my worst nightmares outside of like picking my face because of anxiety. Yeah, I have like a myriad of problems. I don't know what my issue is. Also, not to get depressy or anything, but as of recently, I've been feeling like, I don't know, sort of a failure in life. Like my positioning as an older daughter, I think that there is expectations for me and I should meet those expectations and, you know, help out my family a little bit, but I can't. And that in and of itself makes me feel really sad. Anyway, like my parents aren't getting any younger and I want them to be able to retire because girl, they're getting old and every time I come home, they're looking a little bit more vintage. So, ooh, another fun fact about me is I really like Loki. If you guys couldn't already tell what was in the background, obviously I've watched the entire Loki series. I think I've read like the majority of Loki comics or comics that featured Loki in it. Personally, I like the underdogs a lot. And I mean, obviously people collect things that they relate to or like it resonates with them, you know what I mean? But like, yeah, if that says anything. I'm also 5'2". My sister says I'm 5'1", but like, what does she know? For the longest time, I wanted like leg lengthening surgery because I was insecure about being short. Yeah, so my friends told me maybe don't do that, but I've just accepted my height now. I don't like being short because I don't like the infantilization that comes with it. So at some point in my life, I decided maybe if I just talked at my resting voice, like people wouldn't be like treating me like a child. So yeah, that's why I sound like kind of like a boy. I like randomly used my resting voice one day and then haven't stopped ever since. So I think it adds to the fact that a lot of people think I'm like blatantly queer because I do talk in my resting voice, but like I don't think it's that deep personally. Honestly, this voice is what's most comfortable for me without like having to try to sound like this because I don't naturally talk like this. I talk like this. You can also let me know like what type of content you want to see, like vlogs, get ready with me's, or like actual full-length tutorials. That would be really helpful. Or like just any questions you have at all. Oh my gosh, should I do a Q&A? Q&A. This bitch thinks she's Beyonce. Ooh, I'm also going on my first brand trip soon. Oh my gosh, but it's actually not a brand trip because it's for LA and I live in LA. But like still, do you want like a room tour and stuff like that? I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It's with NYX or like maybe a spend the day with me or something. I hope they feed me. Oh my god. I'm thinking about like LA influencer events where it's like, I understand why the girls are skinny over here, okay? Because it's always small bites. Look, I want a big bite, okay? I want a big one. What would actually be ideal is if I entered my bedroom and saw a chocolate cake on the bed just for me. You know? That's the vibe. That would actually make my day. I'm just putting on some lashes now. I feel like there's so many lash brands that come and go, but Ardell is always around. And like, they have lash styles that you can depend on, you know what I mean? But yeah, outside of that, I pretty much grew up in a family full of girls, minus my dad, of course. I think a hard thing for me to grasp as of recently, and I saw my friend talking about this too, is like when I argue with people and I just expect them to be able to get over it and be friends again, like in 2 seconds, that's how sisters argue. I heard people like that have like a certain vibe to them. Is that true? Also, what does that mean? Can you tell if somebody has sisters or if they grew up in a household of brothers? Let me know. Like, what is the tell? How do you know? What do you know? No less. And my last get to know me fact is that I am Vietnamese. No math. Technically, I am Vietnamese and Khmer. I just am culturally more Vietnamese than I am the other. So that's pretty much a little bit about me. Let me know in the comments what type of videos you want to see next. I'm starting to feel like I'm oversharing a little bit now and I'm kind of nauseous. I feel naked. Bye.